Hey y'all, how's it going? Today I'm going to talk about um, two important parts of the Arizona's government, and that's the initiative and the referendum. Those things are processes that give citizens the direct say in laws that get made in the state. And you can summarize that into direct democracy. So, an initiative is when someone, such as the Arizona citizen, comes up with a new idea or maybe a constitutional amendment, like inside the U.S. Representatives, someone can propose a bill, and that's an idea can be brought to Congress. So it has some similarities there. Um, a referendum works the other way around basically, um, and that's when voters want to approve or reject a law that has already passed legislation. So if people don't really agree with something lawmakers did, they can gather up enough signatures and put that law up to public vote, which is actually really cool. Um, so initiatives, they create laws, and referendums are just checking the ones that already exist in a nutshell. Um, and this is how initi- initiatives are created. So someone propose it to the Arizona Secretary of State's office, and it gets approved there, and they collect enough signatures from the registered voters there, and they need enough signatures to equal to 15% of voters cast in the last governor's election, just to make it a regular law. And then with a referendum, it's a little different. Um, if legislation passes that a lot of people don't like, citizens have up to 90 days after that legislation session ends to collect those signatures. Basically, both of those processes rely on people getting together and gathering enough public support using votes to make their voices heard, which I find is really unique for Arizona's government, which I'm in Maryland. We can't do that. Um, so the initiative process is a proactive process that um, people take action to create something new, and a referendum is a reactive process that people respond to when a lawmaker already did something that the people did not like. And but both those processes give power back to the people. But there's a lot of pros and there's a lot of cons. Obviously, the pros are like you giving the power back to the people. It's very unique to Arizona the way to give power back to people because of the progressive movement um, that really influenced the Arizona Constitution to have that direct democracy right there. Um, this also holds accountability to the politicians because they know if they don't do a good job, they don't do the job in the interest of the Arizona people, they could be booted out. Um, and some cons is connecting signatures from people, for example, for a vote. That takes time, effort, takes money. It could be a very, very tedious process. And it takes a lot of effort. I would say there's more pros than cons in this process, and I wish a lot of other states adapted this process. Um, but it's a connection to direct democracy. Um, and when Arizona's constitution was created in 1912, uh, they wanted to make sure that the people had a real say in their government. unlike the unfair treatment they received from the US government when it came to the industrial age for workers' rights and their treatment, because there's some corruption back then, as there's corruption today. Um, and they just made it in a unique way where people can reject laws and just come together and just hold lawmakers and politicians in Arizona accountable. And I think that's a very cool thing. I wish we had that in Maryland. Um, Honestly, I would not mind moving to Arizona because it seems like people are pretty happy there. So Arizona Arizonians have these tools that not a lot of other states have to make sure that their government works for the people and guided for the people. To wrap things up, initiatives and referendums are what makes Arizona's democracy unique. They let citizens write, approve, reject, while holding the government accountable for their actions and being very transparent. Um, Politicians don't have the right to just sit and do whatever they want in Arizona because the citizens have their government by a strong hand. But like every government, it's not really perfect. But Arizona, they're doing something right over there. Thank you. Have a good night.